Good evening. The time is now 6:30. I'm Chairwoman Jacqueline Macumber, and I'd like to call this advisory meeting to order on today's date, Thursday, February 26, 2026. At this time, I'd like to have you stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Templeton Advisory Committee regular business meeting is being broadcast live on TCTV Channel 8 and TCTV YouTube channel. Responses will be made to comments in the TCTV YouTube channel as time permits. The agenda and meeting materials for this business meeting were posted to mytowngovernment.org/01468 no later than 48 hours prior to the scheduled meeting in accordance to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts open meeting laws. The chair reserves the right to add items to, remove items from, or change the order of the agenda. However, the agenda is posted in advance to give the committee and public time to review the agenda items and to assure that the meeting runs within the allotted time frame. At this time, I ask that everybody silence their phones, everybody in the audience, and we can move on to approval of meeting minutes, which we have none of those today. And moving on to number 4, which would be public comments. We still have none of those today. Moving on to agenda item number 5, reorganization of the advisory committee board. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Francis for his years and years of service to the advisory committee. And he will be very sorely missed, as he's really the only one around here who knows what's going on. So at that time, he was welcome to come and join and provide public comments at any time. I did tell him that, and I hope that he takes me up on that. He will still be helping out in the background as I figure out what I'm doing here, because he's the guy. So at this time, I would like to entertain a motion to find Noel's replacement as our advisory committee clerk. Does anybody have any nominations?
Really? I was voluntold.
We're gonna be official. I would really like to volunteer you.
Nominate.
Nominate. Nominate.
Yep, nominate you.
Yes, I would second that.
Okay, any other further discussions on Miss April becoming our advisory committee clerk?
Thank you so much, ladies, for having the confidence in me. I'll do the best that I can.
No other questions. Okay. Bev, how would you vote?
Yes.
Liz, how would you vote?
Oh, yes.
April, how would you vote for yourself?
Sure. Yes.
And I also vote yes. So it's anonymous, and April is now the advisory committee clerk. And I'll be sure to get that updated on our website.
Let me just write that down.
All right. Now moving on to number 6. New business. A review of the January BvA if available. Unfortunately, it is not available at this current time. But I would like to skip ahead quickly to 7B, because I do have an update to the questions from the December 2025 BvA from our town accountant. So I did ask her, these are in your packets when we get them, so you could read it.
Do you want those?
Not yet. We'll get there.
Okay.
That is number 2. I asked her 7 questions, and I will read them. And if there's other questions based off of what's here, then we can go there. So the first question was pages 4 through 5 under special articles. It said, could you and James review all the items under this section, and anything that is completed be put back into the general fund? And she responded by saying, I'm not entirely sure what Templeton's past practices are, but special articles follow the same care and custody and department/board/committee budgets. That being said, it is my practice to review special articles on an annual basis to confirm the status and return to the general funds where possible. My process to do this is at a year end because it's much easier, less work, and can truly only turn back the general fund in terms of free cash. Fair enough. Okay. All right. You'll get a copy. You don't have to write all this. You'll get a copy. Yeah, I can forward it to you. Yes, for sure.
And the answer came from.
This all came from Amber.
From Amber.
These all came from Amber.
Okay.
And Amber is.
Amber's our town accountant. Amber,
Just of the town.
yeah, Amber Dupel. Okay, number 2, page 6, under sale of real estate fund, can the $400,000 from the sale of the Baldwinville Elementary School go into the general fund? Is this something that needs to be pursued for annual town meeting? She said, in FY25, Templeton tried to put this in the general fund, but it is not allowed and was pointed out by the state and confirmed with legal counsel. Please see the attached email from legal. I don't have that. I will get that. The only thing to note is that because FY25 was still open, this was already moved to a special revenue fund. This cannot go into the general fund. Templeton should discuss options and provide an article to appropriate the funds. So, okay, that's something, and I will get the email that was attached to that.
So do we need to move on that in regards to the select board and making them aware that that needs to be done?
I imagine they're aware because it was a
No,
note,
I think they know that.
it was a note from legal counsel.
Okay.
That is attached to that email that I just missing. So I got this during school vacation week, so who knows?
Yeah.
Number 3, page 6, under Community Preservation Fund 1122 Drape Restoration, should this money go elsewhere? She wrote, this is on CPC's meeting for Tuesday, 2/12/2026 to be closed out.
Say that again?
This is on CPC's meeting for Thursday, 2/12/2026 to be closed out.
Okay, all right.
Does 2/12 already happen?
Yeah.
Okay. We should investigate that.
Are you following me?
Okay,
Thank you so much.
number 4, page 8, under gifts.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much, yes. Review of the gift accounts. Is there a plan? Can they be pulled together to grow higher interest? Can we know how the funds can be spent? Do they have stipulations? Who approves the gift spending? Do we have a financial policy for gift monies? This is all in your packet in here somewhere too. Grants and gifts are covered under Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53A. An officer or department may accept gifts of funds and expend without appropriation. Any plans for gift accounts would be known within the department board trustees with care and custody. Please keep in mind that an accounting fund does not necessarily correlate to treasury bank account. There are few and very specific types of receipts that are required to keep their own interests, such as trust funds, enterprise funds, etc. Gifts and grants are not one of those unless it is specifically required by the donor grantor. All questions regarding bank accounts and investing funds should be directed to the treasurer. I have not come across anything outside of the law specific to Templeton regarding gifts. You know, if that answers questions or gives more questions.
Another question, but I guess I'll figure out where to address the question because it seems that the select board, right, whenever there is a donation made to Council on Aging, the select board goes through a formal process of accepting that donation. And
Certain dollar amount.
it's a certain dollar. All right, well, that may explain it then, because, because we don't seem to follow that everywhere, so it must be the others are below that dollar amount, I'm making the assumption.
Well, we could look into the dollar amount.
Yeah.
I believe there is a threshold
Okay.
in which it needs to come before the board to be accepted. There's something with that.
Okay.
So we'll look into that a little further. Maybe we can put it on the next agenda.
Yep. Gift monies.
Yes.
Yeah. Just what are really the rules surrounding them? We don't seem to be consistent, but it may be just we don't understand the rules as to why the differences.
I don't know if we could reach out to the treasurer if she maybe has
Yeah.
something.
No. It could be. This falls under the educate us cap.
Educate us all. Number 5, page 10 on the top of the page. Why was the police vest grant monies not spent? And she said the grant predates me and has not come up yet as something I've discussed. This would be in the care and custody of the police department. I would recommend discussing with them for further information.
So what you're telling me is that they had grant money to purchase vests,
Mhm.
yet they came to us
well, they wanted to come to us.
Yeah.
And ultimately they went to
The light.
the light and got the full money from the light, but there's money sitting. Not enough money, but there is money sitting in that account for vests. So why didn't they use that money and then whatever additional they needed? I mean, there were other funding sources that they could have utilized that they
They've gone to first, yeah, use the and then come for the balance if they needed to.
It was kind of weird. I wonder if there was like, don't know. Yeah, I'm not gonna speculate.
No.
Maybe somebody could ask the question.
Sometimes the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing. And there are things that get left out from a year or 2 or 3 back, and they don't get carried forward. So you end up finding out that there's funds for different things that never got used when they should have been. And I don't know how you can, maybe now that we have a town administrator, things will get better. Because for a long time there, we had no one that would keep track of stuff like that. And if new people come in, they don't know what happened 2 years ago or 3 years ago, you know?
Right.
But we found the money.
Yeah, but I just looked
Yeah.
at the
Oh, I know.
BvA.
Therefore, I think
And
it's there.
the chief of police, sorry, calling you out here, should have known.
Yeah.
Maybe he forgot and legitimate, reasons for things, but why wasn't that fund, why weren't those funds used?
So
So
we
yes.
went for all that rigmarole
Yeah.
over the whole thing that was totally kind of unnecessary.
Well, that's kind of what I thought, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, number 6, page 11, bottom of the page. Why is hazmat mitigation $18,225.87? And she said, this is a reimbursable grant. The town expends the money upfront and then is reimbursed. I had spoken to Rich Curtis during the process of trying to close the year, and I believe he originally hoped we would receive the funds this month. I noticed he did give an update last night that the grant had been extended until 7/15/26, but that we still hope it is closed out much sooner than that.
Well, it puts her in a mess. I guess you can't close the year out.
Number 7, page 12 is the ARPA money for the police support and equipment, $14,208.51 in danger of being forfeited. Do we know who was overseeing the ARPA funds? In my previous town, it fell within the select board town administrator office. It does look like this was specifically designated to the police department, so they might be able to assist with the information with the turnover in personnel. Impersonal Templeton has experience. So maybe that's another question.
So again, they could have bought the vests with those funds.
I don't know, the ARPA money is pretty specific.
It was very specific what it was for. And they,
Police support and equipment?
But see, I think
yeah,
even before this, the money was there for the ARPA funds.
Mhm.
I mean, for the vests.
Yeah.
That was,
I think that's a James question.
and some of this is just historical. I get that, but.
It's on brand.
Yeah, it would have been nice if she could have gone to the police department and tried to get a full answer. As opposed to,
I guess we gotta find out.
yeah,
Send an email.
I mean, she can only tell us what she knows, and I think she's probably up to her ears in work,
probably,
you know?
yep.
And
From what I gather, she does a very good job. She's a very intelligent girl, which thankfully, we have someone good.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Yeah.
Can we continue to follow up with Rich Curtis in regards to these funds?
See, there's not much he can do either until the
No, but
government,
we just
till a
want to
state,
receive.
till a state spits it back to us, you know? And that's the thing about doing business with them. Things don't always work like they're supposed to.
And then ask James about those ARPA funds. We need to use them before they're.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know what the date, I don't know how that's set up as to expiration date. No idea.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. But might be soon.
Good questions, girls. Very good questions.
All right, are we good here?
Yeah.
All right, let's bounce back to number 6, new business B, the FY 27 budget outlook. So we have had a preliminary meeting with the Narragansett Regional School District back in the beginning of the month. And they presented their budget options, needs, concerns for FY 27. And it was mentioned at the meeting by Mr. Ryan that was looking at possibly, and I'm sure the number has probably grown, it's not gotten smaller, but it was like a $2 million deficit, I believe was what he said.
For the town.
For our town, that wasn't even including, I don't think he even had really a good idea for the school, what the school needs were gonna be at that time. There has been an email that has gone out with the draft 1 of the budget book for our big budget meeting that's coming up for the first Saturday in March. And that was supposed to be discussed on Monday's select board meeting, but the snow got kind of canceled everything, so it'll be discussed next Monday. It's on their agenda, so people would like to tune into that, they're welcome to. They should also go back and it's on the Narragansett YouTube page for the preliminary budget hearing that we all had, the multi-board meeting, that was February 5th. 6th, one of those days, it was a Thursday. So that's also an informative couple hours to listen to it on a higher rate of speed, so you don't have to take 2 hours. But that brings me to our overall little conversation about what advisory might be thinking in terms of what FY 27 looks like.
I think honestly, times are tough for people. I think asking for an override is gonna get voted down as it has in the past. Over the years, the tax rate just continues to rise. And I think that it's time that the town as a whole looks at doing business a different way instead of continuously tacking it on to the taxpayers. It's not gonna fly.
I think there's a difference between a want and a need.
Yep.
Okay, I want a lot of things. That doesn't mean I can have them. And I look at people around me, the elderly, who are struggling on a good day, and everything costs more. People with children, to feed them costs a fortune. I think we have to be very conservative. And I think we have to think hard about what departments are looking for. What I was thinking about was, there were years that we would be broke. And when we were broke, we would be broke for 3 years. And then we have some money. And it would be like every department was grabbing. They don't see themselves as individual departments. They don't see themselves as a whole, as a town. It's their department is all that matters, and that's not true. We have to have a workable plan so that everyone can get what they absolutely need. And
We need to be taking advantage of opportunities too,
yeah,
like grant money.
Yeah.
I see a lot of grant money that's just sitting out there that is not being taken advantage of.
Every department head should be looking at grant money.
we can't afford a grant writer. We're not big enough. We don't have it unless we can.
We hired somebody with experience.
Yeah, but I mean, you hire someone, you have to pay them for 20 hours. Nobody's gonna work for 1 or 2. So the departments themselves can look for this stuff. You can't expect that they're gonna get everything they want unless it's absolutely a need. And I think this is more crucial now than it's ever been, because I don't see things getting better for a while. What do you think?
I don't see it getting better either. I'm doubtful that any kind of override would pass. So right now, the way the town historically has handled budgets and the budgeting process, as far as when it gets to town floor, right? It is a by department budget, right? From what I've been told, is that within that budget, they can move things around as much as they want within their areas. What gets presented to in the budget book is by line item.
Yeah.
I really think first of all, the select board needs to instruct the TA to let the department heads know if your line item, I'm just making up numbers here, if your line item says you get $1,000 for this, don't try to move money in, don't try to move money out. $1,000 as if it were a line item voted budget on town meeting floor to have more control.
We did have that.
Yeah.
I remember the years back when it was the selectmen would read it off, and if you came across something you didn't like, you said, hold. They'd come back and discuss it.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of time. But when people go to town meeting, a lot of people don't watch enough meetings. They don't know enough about what's going on. So if something is presented to them, they think that it's an absolute need.
It's hunky dory.
And that's not always the case, and they don't understand that. It's kind of like throwing it out and see if somebody grabs it and says, runs with it. So I think that, a line item budget, we've done before in the past, it's historic. And it just takes more time.
And I think that's, I know it's difficult. I know it's time consuming. I know it's a pain for various individuals. I don't see another way of being able to do more control over the budget. I see there isn't enough control. I see there are areas where people are like, well, my budget says I can spend this, I'm going to spend this. And they need to get out of that mindset.
That's pretty much, yeah.
And it's things, I go back to my example, $47 pairs of socks. I'm sorry. Yes, it falls within the
Budget.
Clothing
Would-
allowance.
yeah, within that, it falls within, the agreements that they have. It falls within,
But
it
who
does not
spends
make it.
$47 for a pair of socks?
Well,
Yeah, I know, not
somebody
me.
does, somebody does.
Not me.
And to me, that's really more indicative of a form of, and I don't mean disrespect to anybody, a form of entitlement that says, I'm entitled to spend this.
Yeah.
But just because you're entitled to doesn't mean you morally should, especially where we are today.
Yeah.
And it's a different philosophy. And again, I don't mean any disrespect to anybody, but
But you're right.
we're tight, and people need to be watching every single penny. And if every single department is exceptionally careful about every single penny, we can make it through the year.
Yeah.
If they're not, then we can't. And then they're really hard decisions are going to have to be made at some point. But
I think a lot of the cost of things that are going up too is health insurance. That's
Yeah.
like killing people, and that's not something that is
Medication.
in our control.
Medication. My husband's medication.
Yeah.
That's-
there are things that are within control and there are things that aren't.
Yeah.
And,
I'm gonna tell you that there were years, I have to look it up, I'm not a Jeff Bennett. That there was a year that we had no money to town. And the state was in trouble. That's something else you have to watch out for. They held the money that we were supposed to get back from them for over a year. We were broke, and the school went for an override more than, I think, like twice. And they didn't care that the town was in trouble. I think that if the school can justify what they're asking for, but just to ask, it's like taking your budget and inflating it for the sake of inflating it.
No, I don't think they're doing that.
I hope not.
We just sat there, the meeting was, like I said, the beginning of February, and they all sat there, and I looked around the room a few times.
But
they were level, they brought a level service budget.
Yeah.
As opposed to a level funded budget. And there are a lot of unfunded mandates that come from the state and the federal government that the town has to cover, the school system has to cover, right?
Special ed costs a lot of money.
Oh,
Yeah.
that does, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so.
But at least kids are getting educated. When I was a kid, they sat the kids in the back of the room and they never got any attention at all until they were old enough so they could kick them out.
We're, the town and the school have to be in it together.
Yes, they have to
Yeah.
work together.
And I got the impression that the school understood.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think that from what I spoke to Mr. May, that's kind of what he told me too, which is a relief, because I do not want to go through another one of those fights over budgets and overrides and elections. They cost a lot of
The
money.
school is coming here to have a multi-board meeting on March 9th.
Yeah, so we will sit with
So
them.
we will sit with them and they'll present all of their members on that day. And by then, we'll have had our big budget meeting on 2 days before on the 7th. And I'm sure everybody will be tired and numbers will be everywhere, but we'll have a better idea. I just kind of wanted to plant the seeds of like
It's gonna be hard.
what things are looking like, and it's
The
not
last-
best.
The last time we had a problem, I think Jeff Bennett was the one that worked out a compromise, which was a really good thing.
Yeah.
He's good like that, but hopefully, you know, we can do it.
March 9th is their meeting with the select board.
Yep, it's here. And we will just, I think the select board will probably have a regular business meeting as well, so we'll just stay for the school budget and then we can leave after that.
Yep.
Yeah, for hours and days. The question was brought up at the school meeting after the meeting was over about what some numbers might look like if we potentially had the requests and asked for overrides. I know I don't even saying the word, people are gonna come after me, and I find that, it's our job as the advisory committee to inform the townspeople of what could be out there. And like I said, we'll just rip the Band-Aid off here, and there some preliminary numbers. Liz, I'll let you read it.
Oh, I didn't. Well, I answered the question.
Yeah, Liz, yes. Oh, I wasn't gonna throw you under the bus.
They
Question,
have
so
been-
Liz.
they have been talking about it, so they did ask the question as to,
This was like what we did for the roof. Like
Okay.
people wanted to know if we say yes to the roof debt exclusion, what's the bottom line? That's what everybody wants to know, right? How much more money do I have to come up with?
Yeah.
So
So basically it comes down to, for every $1 that this is all just conversation, that we increased, it would increase the tax by $1,199,579. Now, that is based, there's all sorts of ifs, ands, ors, and buts and caveats thrown in there, but in if you do it in simple terms, $1 equals roughly just over $1 million to the tax levy. What that means is that if we were to look at everything right now, today, what the school committee was looking for, what we believe the town was looking for at the absolute worst, if everybody got everything they wanted, it would increase to $11.87, which based on a $378,285 assessed value of a home, that's the average. That comes out to an average tax bill of $4,490.24. Now, there are a lot of caveats around this. It's a piece of information, right? So what else did he say? So to increase the overall town budget and the school committee school together, that comes out to roughly $4.17 increase on, per $1,000 for a school, per home, right? And if it was on a $3 million tax levy, then it would be $2.50, which then turns into an additional $945.72 for the year for a $3 million number, and $1,577 a year for a $5 million number that's based on the average value of a house in Templeton. So it could be more, it could be less, depending upon what your property is worth. But that is worst case scenario. I doubt anybody would actually, I doubt that would get approved, either on on town meeting floor or out for, for a vote to the town. But that's what the numbers say.
Like I said, the town needs to figure out a way to generate more money somehow, some way with businesses. Or we need to figure out a different way to do business, because putting it continuously on the taxpayers is not right. Year over year, it's conversation of an override is continuous.
Yeah. And I'm not advocating an override. I want to make that quite clear. I just wanted to know what the worst case scenario
Mhm.
was. So that way
We got a long way to go before.
we do.
I will say too that I sat here last budget Saturday, Liz sat in the back of the room, I sat there, and every department head that came up said, I will make what I have to do work this year, but I cannot do this next year. Every department head, I cannot do this next year. I cannot do this next year. And I was like, oh boy, nobody can do this next year. So I don't know how the budgets are gonna come in.
Maybe we need to go back to line item so that we can really see what's being said there.
And I think so. And I think it needs to be much more visible.
Yep.
Whatever is legally allowed. And, it's tough, yes, it's a town, but you kind of got to look at it as a family budget that says, yeah, can't spend what you don't have. And we don't have. And unfortunately, that's where we are today. I don't think anybody should be surprised. Thank you very much for putting this on the agenda. It's just not good. So where we are financially, there are other towns around us that I believe are in worse shape from what I've heard.
Yeah.
And so we're not in great shape, but we're not the worst. So. Thank you.
I just wanted to just let the townspeople be made aware, and then you can come and listen to these meetings and come informed to town meeting in May, and not act like you're shocked and surprised that we don't have, our needs won't be met, or it'll be the barest of minimums, so.
I think if all the new people in town, if you know someone new, people out there in TV land, if you know someone new, explain to them. I think we should ask the light company to put a flyer in the bills and explain to people that they can watch the meetings, that city people don't understand that they have a voice in their community. That's something new to them. They're used to having a city council where they don't have a say. In this town, you do, but you have to be there and you have to have some knowledge. So if watching these meetings is valuable, the most valuable thing you have, so that when you sit down, you know what's going on a little bit. And I know everybody's busy, but it's really important. You can listen to them on YouTube when you're going to work in the morning.
Or on your treadmill in the morning.
That's right.
Look, I always find it a little disappointing that we do our pre-town meeting every year, and then people come to town meeting and they're like, just uninformed. And I'm like, last week we sat and we talked, went through everything. Wasn't fun for us. We didn't really want to do it, but we did
They
it.
don't
And we
know,
provided you with what our recommendations are.
they don't know that the meetings are on television, on YouTube.
I'm sure they do.
No, how would they know? The people
Oh,
across
so
from me are
funny.
$55, they don't know.
That's everywhere.
I went over there and I said to them, these are the things you need to know. I told them how to get a hold of rescue if there was a
Yeah.
problem. Because when you come into a new town and they really don't have a social circle here,
Yeah,
It's a thought anyway.
yeah, it is. I mean, we have multiple forms of communication that go out there.
Yeah,
If the life board would be willing to,
it wouldn't be a bad idea.
include, historically, they've done that before. Something to help educate people. That this is one of, I'll say, the purest forms of government that you can get right in the middle of it if you want to. You can
You
ask
have an
them.
empty seat.
Yes, we have an empty seat. You can get very involved and make a difference. And you have a voice in this community.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
That's
what it comes down
important.
to. But this is hey, it's gonna be rough. We as a town, we all need to be able to prioritize what is the most important critical things as far as town government, as far as services that are available, and how we're going to deal with those things that the town will not be able to afford. We can't keep raising taxes, to April's point, that's not it just
Feasible.
yeah, it's not feasible. And so, but that's the kind of money that if we did, and if somebody wanted to know, what kind of increases those things would mean, those are the numbers.
Yeah.
So,
All right, any other questions or comments before we move on? Right, so now we're on to 6. A, old business is 6, and A is an update on the Aubuchon line of credit. I did reach out to Mr. Ryan, and I can read his response about that, so we can put it to bed, as Noel would say. Update on the Aubuchon account, from Mr. Ryan. It says, we do not have a line of credit with Aubuchon. We do have an account, just like we do with Amazon, WB Mason, and many more companies. Someone from the Public Works can go there, get a product, and the town will receive an invoice at a later date for that product. Aubuchon uses a third party to invoice the town, which is Capital One, I believe. The setup is the same kind of setup we have with any other vendor. We make a purchase, we receive an invoice, and the invoice goes to the accounts payable process. The only line of credit we have is a credit card, which I control. Only the select board and myself can approve opening a line of credit. Once an item is purchased, the invoice is sent to that department. The administrative assistant / director review the invoice, sign off for the payment, send the invoice to the accounting. The town accountant reviews the invoice. If there's no problem, the invoice is placed on the accounts payable warrant. The select board signs the accounts payable warrant, and then the treasurer's office sends out the check for the invoice. There are multiple levels of review before invoices are paid. Everyone good with that? Yep. All right. Moving along very quickly, we are on to item number 7, which is member comments. Bev, would you like to start? Do you have any member comments for
I
tonight?
think my member comments are kind of got ahead of I got ahead of myself. No, it's very important for people to have an awareness of what's going on, and they feel they have some control. They can contribute. The advisory committee is an important committee. They're working hard for you, the people, and they're working with the select board. I think that you girls are doing a very good job. We do have an opening if anyone's interested. And that's my comment.
I'd like to say thank you to Noel for his time.
Yep.
On this committee, him being here, he had a wealth of knowledge. I don't think that we could have made it through any other meeting without him. And I hope that he's still gonna be available for us to bounce things off of if needed. And that's about it.
okay. First of all, Noel, thank you for all of your assistance and sharing your knowledge and everything. And you will definitely be missed. So, again, thank you. And I hope everything goes well for you. The other thing I want to bring up is that we are getting into budget season. And, I was on, or I guess I still am on the Capital Improvements Committee. And when we go through the budgets and the budget books, I'm hoping the department heads and the TA remember that if something was not presented in this year's capital budget, that it should not be in this coming year's budget. So if there are any, please take another look at it. I'll be asking questions about it later if it shows up when we do the Saturday review of the budget. So just please keep that in mind, that yeah, if it wasn't presented this year, it shouldn't show up in the budget. So thanks.
Right, thank you. I just again would like to say thank you to Noel. He was among us 4 ladies, and he will be greatly missed. His seat is very, very widely open, and we will be looking to him and calling him for, I'm sure, a plethora of things, and maybe he'll be our member comments soon enough. I mean, no, public comments, sorry. I told him, I said, please come and be public comments, because there's nobody. We would like that. And I'd like to thank you ladies for showing up tonight. I'm sorry it was short, or maybe I'm not sorry it was short. We have a lot of time next month coming in, that we're gonna be sitting in not these comfortable seats. We'll be sitting in those seats. And I just want everybody to, all the townspeople to be informed, and we're doing the best we can, is really all I can say. So at this time, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll second that.
We'll make-
first.
Liz is making the motion. April, you're seconding the motion.
And I will say yes.
Any other discussions? No? Bev?
Yes, we're all done.
April? Yes.